All right, pre-algebra. We're back with example 2 here. Example 2 says Rob has 40 coins, all dimes and quarters, worth $7.60. How many dimes and how many quarters does he have? Now this one you could actually figure out, guess and check. It really might not take you too long. You might, well, what if he has 10 dimes and 25 quarters? You could figure out how much money that is total and see if it's $7.60. But again, this could take a while. And imagine if instead of 40 coins, it was 150 coins and it added up to, $25, then it's even going to be that much more work. So it's important to know how to solve this via systems of equations. So we're going to do the same thing as we did in example 1. The first thing we do is define our variables. And how we figure out how to define our variables is we look at what do we need to know? What are we trying to figure out? We're trying to figure out how many dimes and how many quarters he has. So that's what our variables are going to be. So I'm going to say, I'm going to let x, remember we put let just because that's how we do it. Let x equal, I'm going to say the number of dimes. It's not a hashtag, that's a number symbol, by the way. So x is the number of dimes Rob has. Then y will be the number of quarters. So that's step 1. Step 1 is defining your variables. I now have 2 variables. I know x is the number of dimes, y is the number of quarters. I need to figure out what those are. That's what I'm trying to do. So then I'm going to look at this and be, okay, I need 2 equations. I need to come up with 2 equations. So I'm going to look at the first sentence. It says Rob has 40 coins. So that tells me he has 40 total coins. And all of them are dimes and quarters. So I know his dimes plus his quarters has to equal 40. So my first equation could just be x plus y equals 40. So this first 4 words there is actually an equation. It's enough information for an equation. Number of dimes plus his number of quarters has to equal 40. So then I'm going to look at my second one. So I know they are worth $7.60. So I know all his dimes plus all his quarters is going to add up to $7.60. So what I can do is, I know what the value of a dime is. How much is a dime worth? 10 cents, thank you. A quarter worth 25 cents. So what I can do is I can use that information. The only downside is, 10 cents would be a decimal. That would be 0.10. 25 cents would be 0.25. And $7.60 also is a decimal. Decimal just makes this a little more complicated. You can get around the decimal though. So instead of doing 0.10 for a dime, I can just do 10. I can say it's 10x. So 10 times the number of dimes is how many cents the dimes are worth. I could do 25 for a quarter. 25 times the number of quarters will tell me how many cents that is. So 25y. So then what I need to do though, instead of equaling $7, 7.60, I can make that equal 760. So basically what happens is, instead of dealing in dollars right now, what I'm dealing with is in pennies, cents. 10 cents for each dime, 25 cents for each quarter equals 760 cents, 760 pennies. So now all I got to do is solve. Again, this is system of equations. I'm going to solve by elimination because they're lined up. I got my x's and my y's. Now I don't have any numbers lined up, so I'm going to have to multiply. I'm going to multiply the top equation by 10. So I'm going to rewrite that as multiply by 10. That's going to be 10x plus 10y equals 400. The bottom one stays the same, 10x plus 25y equals 760. And now I'm just solving a system of equations by the elimination method, which we've done. So I look at this, I got 10x, 10x. Do I add or subtract? Well, 10 minus 10 is 0, so I subtract. So I do that. My 10s cancel out. 10 minus 25y is negative 15y. 400 minus 760 is negative 360. So now what I'm going to do is just solve this equation. I'm going to divide by negative 15. I do that and I get y equals, I think it's 24. Let me double check with my calculators. I don't want to have to refilm this. 360 divided by 15. It is 24. Good. So I now know y equals 24. So I know he has 24 quarters. I look at my first equation, it was just x plus y equals 40. That's really easy to plug into. So x plus y equals 40. I take the 24, I put it in place of the y. This is just a one-step equation here. Just subtract 24. and x equals 16. I've now figured out he's got 24 quarters, 16 dimes, so I can answer it. 16 dimes and 24 quarters. We have done example 2. All right, one more. Example 3. I will see you there.